I change name of stream because I'm waiting for my friend Brother X who accepted my invitation to speaking with me, and I so glad to have found new friends. Especially he is Muslim. It's quite important for me. Let's talk along with Brother X. Guest, so that you know what I mean. He said he said he would return after his praying. He said he said he would return after his praying. He said he said he would return. It's only to wait for my friend and we will be ready to start. Can I left my message for Brother X so that he get my name of Skype and add me into his yes, I have it. Chat. Need to left message. Skype. If you want to join in my translation too, don't be shy. Please add me in Skype and I waiting for you. Whether you speak better than I or worse than I, it's pointless to think that someone can speak better than somebody. We only practice and there is no reason to be afraid. Please join and we will have to speak with you. While I'm waiting my friend, I try to find something interesting in YouTube now. I have purpose. Oh, I have a new one. Hello.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum, brother. Are you Brother X?
Can you hear me?
Give me a couple seconds before I attach my ears. Yes, I now can hear you. Please say something.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. And what about you?
Okay.
Let's try. Give me a couple seconds before I. Yes, we stream. We stream. Appear our conversation. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? From you are and things like that.
Well, I'm Chechen. I'm from the St. Petersburg actually, but I'm studying now in Finland. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you properly.
Yeah, I'm studying for like fourth year already. So it's like I learned English in school. Then I continued with like a personal tutor, you know. And the thing is, like, my English become actually better when I studied with there was one guy. He was from America, you know, so he was like a native speaker, you know, and he lived in Russia, but he moved in like during Soviet Union time. So he moved to United States. He became successful there, but he then later he felt like nostalgia about Russia, and he came back. That was bad decision in my opinion, but so he came and he became like a teacher, you know. So he started tutoring people. So this is where my English really become good because I studied with him about like almost 1 year for an IELTS test, you know. I failed two TOEFL tests. I failed them, like I didn't get the points that I need for my university. And but during those preparations, I actually improved my English. And when I passed the IELTS test, it was like a 7.5 from 9. So something like this, you know.
It seems you're quite skilled English speaker, and when I heard of you that you couldn't pass examination about grammar, I suppose you meant particular that, but it doesn't matter because you quite good speak, and even we have small trouble with our accents. It's no reason to be ashamed about it, and look, as you speak fluently and able to do it addition more than two sentences, it's quite impressive, and I'm proud to have acquaintance with you. Uh, can you would you like to tell something about your life, common life, what you do, what you work for, and things of your life?
Well, as I said earlier, I studied like international business, and thing is, like in the beginning, it was quite it wasn't that challenging actually, because the most like people that are in the university, you know, in our like class, they're also like foreigners. So for them, English is not really like their own language. So it's like the same people as you. So it's kind of like it feels like easier to adapt. But of course, if you have experience with like a native speakers, you know, that are really good in English, it will improve your English. Like, but for me now, the issue is not speaking English. English is like something I already like passed. You know, like my English is okay to communicate, to listen. You know, like the most of the like YouTube videos or movies. You know, there is this thing like some specific, you know, like scientific language, you know, say some maybe scientific articles, they become a little bit challenging because they have like a lot of like specific vocabulary, you know. So even in Russian, you know, some people have problems understanding these articles. So I think it's like you talked about accent earlier. The accent actually is the thing that you overcome eventually, you know, but you have to really focus, you know. You have to focus on this like small details, you know, like, and listen more, because whenever you just stuck with what you say, you're okay with the way you are talking, you know, and you kind of like, you don't ask other people what do they think about like your pronunciation. You really need someone who can like explain those small things like in your language that you just don't notice, you know. That's the thing, some people don't notice like what kind of mistakes they make during the speech. So that's it. What tell me like you know, tell me about how did you like came up like to accepting Islam? For me, this is interesting, you know.
8 years ago, when I had acquaintances with my new friends, and it due with my new uh, hobby to learn a new teacher of life. If you accept things like this, Schlachter, who tried to explain us that we must choose whether we will be pray only one, I mean God, or pray to someone or something like money or things due with it. And when my friends from this club I was advised to read Quran, and first time I refused, abundantly refused from such advices, but when I find out this book in my library and decided to read it, I decided to perusal it and determine what source of interesting my friends what they found in this book, so that have interested in it. And when I while reading this book, I cried, and I completely understand that it's a book from God, because there no contradiction while I reading this book, and I completely understand that its book have one goal, so that you pray only one God and not have anyone who you pray to. It's after all, when I studied this religion properly, I pinpoint that there is no contradiction at all, whether you look at hadith, I mean it's phrases of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Shariat, where there is no contradictions too. And I have decided to be a Muslim also.
That's really nice story. Like, but yeah, because you know it's like pretty. The message is pretty clear, you know, and there is no like no like Trinity or this some confusing concepts, you know, that people find weird. They don't really understand them, you know, understand these concepts that the people actually make, you know. It's not like it's kind of like, you can say, distorted message, you know, something that God always had one message, but throughout the history people distorted it. But alhamdulillah, our message is not distorted to till this day, you know, and it will continue until end of the day. But what was, for example, for you, like the turning point? Like, was it some specific ayat, or was it like someone like you realized, yes, this is something, you know, this is really is something is close to my heart. This is something I want to accept. I want to follow. You know, what was was it like a one point, or it was like continuously coming up, like how to say, building up, and in one moment you just like cried, or like,
I would rather say that all of this book one completely message, and I can't emphasize something particular, because whenever I read this book, I met places what forced me to cry, because I never cry before of something like book, because when you understood that someone greatest look at you from above, and he have power to crush you immediately, or do you life better than you can imagine, and he has power to empower you too, and do you more better man than you was before. You then understand that clarity of this message, as Allah said in Quran, this book for people who can think, and I don't understand why people even didn't never parasol this book, make assertion that it's a lie. What I think about it. While you became a Muslim, please, can you tell me?
How I became?
Yes, I mean, I meant exactly it.
I'm from the birth, you know. I'm always my father is and his father is, you know. So it's something I'm born with. Of course, like, you know, there is a thing like when your parents, for example, Muslim, they tell you about religion. There is some problem, you know. Like, you know, this is truth, but you know, even if somebody is like your parent or someone is praying, you know, for you, it becomes like a little bit hard to follow the exactly religion, because it's more like, oh, your parents said to do this, you know. It's not like you're something, how to say, you just realized why you should do it. And this is also an important aspect, you know. A lot of people forget this, like when you actually start to consciously, you know, realizing, oh, that's really, the praying is something I have to do like 5 times a day. It's not like like advice or something. It's your like duty, you know. And unfortunately, you know, in Muslim countries, you meet a lot of Muslim people that like when they were like, they used to pray in their countries, you know. They used to like go to mosque, but once they come to Europe or America or like another country, they feel like, oh, now I'm like free, you know, like, and I don't have to pray. I don't have to do like anything like related to religion. It's fine if I just have it in my heart, you know. But that's not a thing in Islam. That's what's it's different, you know, because we have to discipline ourselves to do the right things, you know. And once we discipline ourselves to do the right things, our life becomes like better, you know, in any like in everything, you know, in studies, either it's job or just like everyday relations like with people, you know. That's the thing.
In opinion of many peoples, that if you have birth in a Muslim family, you didn't understand what you choose, and you Muslims you became Muslim only by your birthday, by your birth place, and when you trying to explain them that each of us have their own brain, and of course someone even don't understand that how it is important for us after many years. But I suppose if you for example 28-year-old and you still praying, of course you do it not, but you have some kind of things what you забыл слово привык, как будет привык?
Привык?
Да, привык.
Got used.
Not things accustomed, of course. Get used,
Yeah,
get used, or get used.
Yes, also, yeah, you can say both ways. You can say got used or accustomed or something.
I missed this word in the phrase. There's not things what you get used, but it's quite often that people who don't believe in God trying to accuse you in these things that you pray only because of you born in a family with Muslims orders.
Yeah.
But how can they explain why I or others Russian people becoming Muslims too? They only trying to find our blame in such things that absolutely meaningless, and because they can't do it in the Quran itself. They can't have contradiction in Quran and trying to make a delusion that we praying only because of we from Muslim, because we have Muslim parents. Something like this I wanted to say.
Yes. Yes, of course, it's like it's common misconception, you know. Like, but the thing is that people, right? They don't like Allah says in Quran, for example, that we are praying for ourselves, you know. So actually, when we pray, we benefit ourselves first of all, you know, because this is something that makes our life easier. You know? But the thing is, you cannot really prove existence of God. You know, it's like in the way humans try to prove existence, it's not possible. We cannot show that He is like hidden, you know, but only by observing like the signs of the God, you know, of like one of the signs, one of the miracles is like Quran, for example, for Muslims. You know, this is, and only if you have like, you know, only if you have like a willing and desire to put like to put an effort, you know, to put your time to find the truth. Only that way you will find. But you cannot be, you know, arrogant about something like resource you're looking at and think, oh, you know, this is not something I think it's not even there is a possibility that it's true. But I will read it just to make sure this is not true, you know. And if people read like this, then the harder they will get the message. But if they will start to reading like this, oh, there is a possibility, you know, without arrogancy in the heart, there is a possibility that this might be true, you know. Then that way they can feel it, you know. But only if Allah.
I completely agree with you, and neglectance of those people who assert that there is no reason to believe in God, quite meaningless and pointless, because if we look at our own bodies, and we will find out that there is plenty of technologies which we never reach by science. Whatever it's recover of our skin, or our capabilities of hearing and seeing things, and Allah said in Quran that if He would if He delivered angel for prove His existence, never rest without became no one. Just секундочку. All people would be became a Muslims too, because of that Allah sent to us exactly men like we are.
Yes. Yes, and one of the examples that Allah puts in the Quran, like one of the examples is mosquito's wing, you know. It seems like something really simple, you know, what can be complicated about mosquito's wing, you know. But actually like even if the whole world will like unite to build the similar like as mosquitoes wing, they will not success, you know. And even now, scientists, you know, they find out mosquitoes wing, you know. Even we don't think nothing of mosquito. Mosquito is like a small insect, you know. We can like slap and it will die, you know. If you look, if you look the way it's built, you know, it's so complicated, you know, and it just like whenever you have a chance, to take your time and look at the like from engineering point of view, you know, this, you know, this is one of the examples, you know.
It's able to see our hot signature for distance of 1000 meters and defined how to find us out and eat our blood. And as you said before, it have plenty of technologies which we never reach, and it quite astonishing. But neglectance of people, refuse of such quite amazing things like mosquitoes and back that it appears by himself, maybe with house theory, maybe Darwin theory, or they have many theories, but they can prove.
Like I watched one of your like streams when you talk with one girl, and when she said like she talked about this was the weird stream, you know, I find it like funny, you know, but I watched like a little bit just to have an idea, you know, what's going on. And she said something about like there's like a Big Bang theory, you know, the way she sees the world developed, you know. There's like there was like Big Bang, you know, and then all the universe expanded, and then the planets came up to be, you know, and then suddenly on one planet accidentally, you know, human life come up just like a random accident, you know. But the thing is, like, if you think from logical standpoint, you know, how this Big Bang come up, you know.
As you saw, I yield her reason because it was quite useless to argue with her. If I did it, she apparently getting more angry, and after all would be insulting me or offense, and reason of
Well,
that
of course.
I refuse to argue with her and only jocosely emphasize those things which indeed quite funny, as you said.
Yeah. What about your like professional? Have you studied like in university or somewhere, or just want to learn English, or what are you looking for like forward? Are you working currently? Like
Currently, I'm working as teacher at one of private school where I teach young ones to speak English by using quite astonishing program when they understand new grammar constructions without tables or schedule, but using only cards, mnemo cards, and each of these cards mean some kind of grammar part. For example, one card mean I want to. Then they able to change. For example, I on mommy or you, and what they want to. I want to run, speak, swim, and other things. Some kind of constructor for speaking, not for studying grammar. And before I worked as lighter at TV station, but then I fired from this work because I had arranged, sorry, unrest within my colleagues and was fired after all.
Have arranged what?
I had arranged unrest. I, mm, I will try to find.
Okay.
For example, maybe you know word riots, turmoil, strife,
Okay.
if you see my screen, you capable to define what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Why did you arrange the unrest?
I have quite um, I have quite passionate temper, and when I stumble with disorder and judgment within our chiefs, I completely getting angry and
So she was like a bad colleague, right? She was trying to provoke you, or something like this.
no,
Real-
I meant I didn't mean it. I mean it. I want to say that I have one schedule, but when my chief change on other, he attach to my schedule new one, and after all I work double time, and whatever I do, he didn't want to change my schedule, and I lead myself in direction of main chief of all TV station, who tried to explain me that he would change my situation, but after all he ignored me, and when I arranged absolutely unrest within my facility, I was fired. But I proud of me, because I not only fired myself, but made things like that.
That's a good. Do you enjoy working with kids more?
Oh, I'm completely satisfied with work with kids, and uh, I like them because there is place where I able to work with people directly, not only by common conversation in the work, but trying to help them over overdo problems what we stumble. And for example, when I make contest within my pupils, someone of them disappointing of results and crying, but I am trying to understand him that it's only game, and there is no reason to be upset, and after all they understood such simple thing, and we have decided this problem.
Yeah, work. I mean, like just general being teacher. Being teacher means not be able to pass on information that you got. It's not about just
like sharing your skills. It's not about this. You also have to be like part psychologist, part just understand the, especially the kids. You have to really understand them, to teach. A lot of teachers in Russia, unfortunately, they're missing out this. Like some are really mean with teachers, with the kids. Like for me, it's unimaginable how you can be mean with a kid. Like just force him to do something. You really have to find like an individual approach to every kid, and just kids are like, kids are, how to say, there's in Russia saying kids are like flowers, in our lives. That's why it's important to be like as nice, as gentle, but still be able to, in this kind of like a game, like a gaming way, to just try to attract them to like your topic, and I think it's really satisfying when you see like your pupils, do like they achieve some kind of results, they learn actually something, and this is like this is nice, from you that you're doing this, and this is also nice that you're like you are forcing yourself to like, do the channel, and just keep on learning English, don't stop. That means that you, inshallah, hopefully you'll become each day, if you force yourself little by little, our Prophet told like, it's not about like doing a lot of things in one day, for example. It's about like a small things, but every day, and you keep doing those things, and Allah, inshallah, He will give you results, but we have to ask Allah for help, and we have to make our own effort, So that's nice from you, and I try to help. At least I saw like your channel, and you're trying to speak English, and I felt like, okay, I know a little bit English, so like I can at least like, help you in any way, Like if you help, if anyway, then I feel like, yeah, it's nice, inshallah. So that's the.
You have high level English. You'd better to admit it, because you have much more better accent than more of foreigners who never live in England or Canada's, and you speak fluently without delays between words. And as you said in your speech, I'm really trying to make a lesson with my pupils like a game, and they never sit at their desks and only playing various kind of games, and they never dull in my lessons, but all the time receiving information about new rules or grammar things, and trying to be better. In the beginning we have different capabilities within pupils, but now I have one way for all of them, and they make his way in one direction, and I'm proud of them. And I thank you for your kind words, and I really grateful you for this conversation, because I never speak with someone who's able to do it, and I hope we will speak again.
Inshallah, next week, this time, maybe if you'll be free around this time, we can talk, inshallah,
When you have a time, please left message when I, for example, translating or someone else.
Yes, I'll be on your stream and I'll tell you.
And if you will don't mind, I of course invite you. Thank you so much, my friend. I wish you be patient and strong, and
yeah, Vladimir, yes, Vladimir, I don't need anything from you except if you make dua for me, like you make dua, so Allah will increase my iman, and will help me, and I'll make for you. You know, that's only that's only payment I need if you can do this. You know.
I promise you, I will pray for you 5 times at least. And you really my friend.
So you-
You're really my friend
It's-
forever, and I hope we will meet each other. So we will meet each other once. Maybe when situation in the world exchange in our benefit, and we will meet, I suppose. But
Inshallah.
please, if you don't mind, can we speak with each other sometimes?
Yes, of course. You just, yeah, you can, whenever you have a stream, I'll write you, or you can write in Skype, you know. And whenever you have to ask, you want to ask me, I'll tell you, you know, in my abilities, you know, like.
I'm
So,
grateful,
so
my
please.
friend. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Давай.
It was my new friend, and I proud have acquaintance with him. It's they much more effective than what I did before in my streaming, and we Muslims really trying to help each other, and there was example of it. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.